There is a line in this story that almost nobody sees. It is 3 words long. It says that while the son was still far off, his father saw him, still far off. To recognize somebody who is still far off, you have to have been watching for a very long time, months, maybe years. Every evening, at the same hour, when the light starts to go and the dust on the road turns gold, a man standing at the edge of his land, looking until there is nothing left to see, and then going inside. This story is always told from the son's side. A son leaves, loses everything, and comes home. The money, the hunger, the regret. But the man who told it first did not put it there. He put it on the one who stayed. This is the story of the father who kept watching the road. It matters who he was telling it to, because it changes the meaning of everything that follows. There were 2 crowds around Jesus. One was made of people with bad reputations, the kind nobody expected anything from. The other was made of respectable men who criticized him for exactly that, for sitting down to eat with the first group. Instead of defending himself, he told 3 stories in a row, all 3 about something that gets lost. The third one begins with 6 words. A man had 2 sons. One day the younger one came to him and asked for his share of the inheritance. This is worth stopping on because today it sounds like paperwork and back then it was not. An inheritance is divided when the father dies. Asking for it early is a way of saying, without having to say it, as far as I am concerned, you are already dead. I want what you leave behind, not you. And in a small village, where a man's honor was half of his family's wealth, that was not a private argument. It was a public humiliation. What anyone would expect is that the father throws him out. Instead, the story says, in a single line, what he did. He divided his property between them. The word used there does not mean money, and it does not mean land. It is the word for life, livelihood, the thing a person lives on. The father divided his life, and he said nothing. A few days later, the son turned all of it into cash and left. Turning it into cash meant selling land that had been in the family for generations, animals, tools, in front of the neighbors, one piece at a time. He left with the whole village watching. The story says he went to a far country. It does not say which one, and it does not matter. Far is all the information you need. There is no list of what he did there either. Just one line. He spent everything on reckless living. Whoever told this story did not linger on the scandal. And then 2 things arrived at once. His money ran out, and a severe famine came over that country. Both together. His own ruin, and the ruin of the place he happened to be standing in. Anyone who has gone far from home to make a living knows they tend to arrive like that, and that the second one gives no warning. He began to be in need, and the text uses a very precise verb. He attached himself to one of the citizens of that country. It does not say he was hired. He attached himself, the way a person holds on when there is no one left. That man sent him out into the fields to feed pigs. For a Jewish boy, that was not humble work. It was the bottom. The animal his own law marked as unclean, and him out there all day among them. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. Look at the second half of that, because it is the worse of the 2. It is not that the food was bad, it is that not even that. And there, in that field, comes the line that holds the whole story up. It says he came to himself. Literally that. He came to himself, like someone waking up. But what he thought when he woke up was not noble, and the story does not hide it. He thought, in my father's house, even the hired men have bread to spare, and here I am starving to death. He started home because he was hungry, not because he understood, not out of some clean repentance. Hunger. It is worth saying out loud, because his father never asked him for a better reason. Before he set off, he did something very human. He rehearsed what he was going to say. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired men. Anyone who has ever rehearsed under their breath what they are about to say to someone in their own family knows exactly what that is. And look at what he was asking for. A hired man, the one from outside, paid at the end of the day, sleeping somewhere else, coming back to the farm without coming back to the family. It was a debtor's plan, not a son's, and it was probably the only thing he dared to imagine. He got up and started walking. Now it is worth remembering the other two stories, the ones he had told just before, because this is where they matter. In the first, a sheep is lost, and the shepherd leaves the 99 on the hills and goes after it until he finds it. In the second, a coin is lost, and the woman lights a lamp, sweeps the whole house and searches until she finds it. In both of them, somebody goes out looking. In the third one, nobody does. The father did not go to the far country. He did not send anyone. He stayed in his house, and he watched the road. Not because he did not care. The opposite. Because a son dragged home has not come back. He has only been returned. So the father did the hardest thing a person can do for someone else. He waited, with no guarantee at all. And then comes the line. While he was still a long way off, his father saw him. He saw him first. Before the speech, before the apology, before he even knew what the boy was coming for. He recognized him when he was a small figure on a road, at a distance where anyone else would have seen nobody at all, and he ran. In that place, that was not a charming detail. An older man with standing did not run. Dignity was measured in how slowly a man walked, and running meant gathering up your robe in front of everybody. The father accepted looking ridiculous in front of his own village in order to reach his son before his son reached the village, so that the village would see the embrace before it saw the disgrace. The boy started his speech. He got as far as "I am no longer worthy to be called your son," and there it stopped. His father never let him reach the part about the hired man. That sentence, rehearsed since the pig field, never got said at all. Instead, the father asked for three things: the best robe in the house, which was his own, a ring, and sandals for his feet. Not one of the three is decoration. The ring was for sealing, for signing in the family's name, and the sandals mattered because in that house, the people who went barefoot were the servants. He did not take him back as an employee. He put him back exactly where he had been before he left. This is where almost everyone thinks the story ends. It does not. The more uncomfortable half is still to come. While the party was starting inside, the older son was coming in from the fields, working, the way he always had, the way he had his whole life. As he got close, he heard music and dancing, and he did not go in to ask. He called one of the servants over and asked him what was going on. Nobody had gone to tell him. He found out from an employee in the yard that his brother was back. He was angry, the text says, and he would not go in. And the father came out again. That is the second time that man leaves his own house that evening. The first, running toward the road. The second, only as far as the door, to plead with the son who had never gone anywhere. The older one had his reasons, and they deserved to be heard. He said, "All these years I have been serving you. I never once disobeyed an order of yours, and you never gave me so much as a young goat to celebrate with my friends." Look at the verb he chose, serving. He had spent years living in his own house and talking like an employee. One of the two went to the far country. The other had been far away much longer without ever leaving. And then he said the hardest line in the whole story. "But when this son of yours came home," he did not say "my brother." He said "this son of yours." He pushed him away with 3 words. His father corrected exactly one. It was right to celebrate, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He handed back the relationship the other one had just denied. And then he said something that often gets passed over. "Son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours." The goat never had to be asked for. It had been there for years. What was missing was not the father's permission. It was the son daring to think of himself as a son. And then the story stops. It does not say whether the older one went in. It ends with a father standing in a doorway, talking to a son who has stayed outside, and a party going on behind him. The ending is missing on purpose, because the respectable men listening to him, the ones who criticized who he ate with, were exactly the older brother. He was leaving the question with them, and it is still open. 2 sons, one left with the money, the other stayed with the resentment, and a father who had to walk out of his own house twice, once running toward the road, once only as far as the door. This story has been told for 20 centuries, and it has not aged. That is not an accident. Think how many people know it without ever having read it. The house with a light left on longer than it needs to be. The phone that does not ring at the hour it used to ring. Somebody who gets up from the table for no reason and steps outside to look at the street. There are houses somebody walked out of with a bag and a return date that never happened. Mothers who have spent years working out what time it is over there before they dial. Fathers who learned the name of a city they still cannot quite pronounce. And on the other side is the one who has not been back in years, and very often not for lack of wanting to, out of shame, because coming home empty-handed feels worse than not coming home at all. That one has a speech rehearsed too, and has had it for a long time. This story says 2 different things to those 2 people. To the one far away, the speech may not be necessary. In the story, the son never manages to finish it. He gets interrupted first. And to the one waiting, waiting is not doing nothing. The father did not go looking, but he had been watching that road so long that he recognized him while he was still a small shape on the horizon. That is not resignation. It is the hardest form love takes, leaving a door open without knowing whether anyone is going to walk through it. Maybe the whole story fits into a single line. The father did not go out to look for him. He went out to wait for him, and he kept going out every evening, at the same hour, until the evening it mattered.